Will the meeting please come to order? Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation this evening will be offered by Pastor James Douglas Clay of the New Visions Baptist Church, guest of Councilmember Jeff Syracuse.
To our mayor and also our vice mayor and all the council people, it's an honor. With that, let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we present ourselves before thy throne of grace this evening. We come now, Father, with thanksgiving because you've kept us this far along the way. Not only did you keep us, Father, but now you've brought us to this August assembly, Father. We pray now that you would touch each and every one who has sacrificed so much of themselves to actually do the work of this city known as Nashville. We thank you, Father God, for what is happening here. It's a great time, but it's also a time where we need your direction. And so by the name of Jesus, we ask now that you would just grant direction, that you would grant guidance, that you would keep each and every person who gives tirelessly of themselves to keep this city moving. We pray for our law enforcement and other responders, first responders, Father, and ask that you always keep them in the hollow of your hand. Ultimately, Father, we pray that you would direct so that you'll be pleased with the actions that this body takes. This is our prayer this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you may be seated. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion of adoption of the minutes of the meeting of April 3rd? Without objection, the minutes of the meeting will stand approved. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
No, Madam President, there are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you. So we're going to take just a brief recess here for a minute. And I promised Sean Henry that we would all stand up and take a picture that we can send to him. So Joseph's going to come up here and take a picture of everybody. So if you will stand so we can show our pride for our predators. We'll do finger fangs. Where's Joseph? Okay, maybe not Joseph. Well, when do y'all take the picture? Will you take it? Okay. Or send it to me. Use yours and send it to me. Hang on, I'm going to go down there with them. Yeah, we're on the way. Gilmore? I know. Council Lady Hurt would like us to redo this because she wasn't in here. So would you humor me, and we'll do it one more quick time for her. Can y'all hear me now? What's wrong with my mic? Because I'm on. Yeah. We're going to take another picture while I'm yelling. We're going to take another quick picture because there were a couple of council members not in here. So stand up one more quick time. Was I just not talking loud enough? I don't think so. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you. Can y'all hear me now? All right, good. So we have two presentations. First, I'm going to call on Council Members Anthony Davis and Nancy Van Rees.
Yeah. Oh, here they are. Yeah, come on up. Thank you, Vice Mayor. We are here to honor folks for craft content. It's an unconference here in Nashville. It used to be called PodCamp in its 11th year, and honor this as Nashville Content Week. So I will start reading through this resolution. Resolution 2018-1118, celebrating and recognizing April 14th through the 21st as Nashville Content Week in Nashville and Davidson County. Whereas Craft Content Nashville is a broad community of digital media and content creators and enthusiasts, and whereas in its 11th year, Craft Content Nashville's annual spring event has established itself as the premier digital media unconference in the Mid-South, and whereas Craft Content continues to live by the following unconference rules established by its predecessor, PodCamp Nashville. Content is driven by the attendees. The event is easily accessible. The law of 2 feet is applied, allowing attendees to attend simultaneous sessions. Conversation is encouraged, and impromptu session opportunities are available and welcomed. And whereas Craft Content Nashville was originally founded in 2008 as PodCamp Nashville and was adopted from the original PodCamp held in Boston, Massachusetts in 2006 and created by Christopher S. Penn and Chris Brogan. And whereas the first PodCamp Nashville was held at Cannery Ballroom on February 9th, 2008, and provided a forum for bloggers, marketers, educators, podcasters, and other content creators to gather, network, and learn about the latest trends, tricks, and technologies available in the interactive world. And whereas in March of 2009, PodCamp Nashville moved to the Vanderbilt Owen Business School, which proved to be a massive success and brought hundreds of people together to share stories, tips, and case studies about using the rapidly evolving tool known as social media and real-time web. And whereas in 2010, PodCamp Nashville moved to Cadillac Ranch on Lower Broadway, now known as Tequila Cowboy, where the event remained for 3 consecutive years. And whereas this event continued to grow and draw digital content creators and marketers of all experience levels before moving to Hotel Preston in 2013.
And whereas in 2014 marked the first year the Unconference was held at the Nosy College of Art, a visually stunning and inspiring 55,000 square foot campus located off Ellington Parkway at the gateway to Madison, Tennessee. And whereas in 2015, PodCamp Nashville was reimagined and Craft Content Nashville was born and now offers a fresh voice to engage in an ever-evolving spectrum of digital content creators. And whereas in 2018 marks the 4th consecutive year Nashville Content Week and the Unconference will be held at Nosy College of Art. And whereas Craft Content Nashville aims to inspire increased participation from video producers, graphic designers, photographers, developers, and all others who craft unique and innovative content that plays to our eyes, ears, and minds through creative use of words, pictures, and sounds. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metro Council recognize the week of April 14th through the 21st as Nashville Content Week and celebrate the content creator community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the Metropolitan Council goes on record as recognizing April 14th through the 21st, 2018 as Nashville Content Week in Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee.
Vice Mayor Wiener and members of Nashville Metro Council. My name is Carla Swank-Fox, and I am the lead organizer of Craft Content and co-founder of the event. And on behalf of the hundreds of digital content creators who are part of our Craft Content Nashville community, I wish to thank you for this special recognition of Nashville Content Week. I would like to personally thank Councilmember Davis and Councilmember Van Rees, both longtime supporters of our digital content community, for their leadership in this recognition. Nashville Content Week is a volunteer-led event, and so this means so much to everyone who has worked so hard to make this happen. Creators of digital content are unique in that we are often multidisciplinary, working in virtual reality one moment and web design and social media the next, frequently blurring the lines between strategist and artist, creator and tactician. Nashville Content Week offers us an opportunity to stretch our minds, explore new platforms and media, and connect with others working in similar spaces. This week, hundreds of creators from across the Mid-South, not just in Nashville, will gather here in Nashville to learn, connect, share, and use our collective voices to better Nashville and the greater Middle Tennessee area. We appreciate the support that you all have provided to our efforts this week. Thank you very much.
This is what you call content.
Congratulations.
Councilman Glover.
Good luck at the conference there, Dan. See you for beer.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. If I could, I'm going to ask the West family to please join around me, those who would like to, as we present this proclamation. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's good. Thank you. Vice Mayor and members of council, this is a resolution honoring the life of Mr. John J. West for his many years of service and contributions to the city of Nashville. Whereas John J. West, son of former Nashville Mayor Ben West and brother of former Democratic State Representative Ben West, Jr. of Nashville, was from one of the Nashville's prominent political families and was part of an old guard of politicians from East Nashville, the one-time power base of the city, and whereas Jay West served for 12 years on the Metro Council, serving as an at-large council member from 1983 to 1995, before being elected as vice mayor in 1995. He replaced longtime Vice Mayor David Scobie, and whereas one 4-year term as Vice Mayor. Whereas Jay West loved Nashville and, like his father, was dedicated to the life of public service as a way in order to make his hometown a better place. And whereas Jay West married Diane Dunneback and fathered one child, Andrea Westdahl, and whereas Jay West spent 2 years of his career in Washington, D.C., where he served as a legislative assistant to the United States House of Representatives, and whereas Jay West represented a variety of trade associations of interest and lobbyists as a state level, including the areas of education, health care, land use zoning, and workers' compensation, and whereas Jay West held stints as vice president of the Tennessee Municipal League and served as the executive director of the County Officials Association of Tennessee, and whereas Jay West, as a graduate of Leadership Nashville and Leadership Middle Tennessee, he received degrees from Castle Heights, Belmont University, and Nashville School of Law. And whereas Jay West was a member of the Faith Methodist Church, and whereas Jay West was an avid fisherman and golfer and was known to open his conversation with a joke or riddle. And whereas Jay West's sense of humor, kindness, energy, and graciousness enriched those fortunate enough to know and work with him, and whereas the West family has made a tremendous positive mark on our city, and Jay carried on that tradition as a humble public servant whose actions always showed how much he cared about Nashville, and whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognize Jay West in the celebration and recognition of his life and the acknowledgement of his service and his many contributions to the city of Nashville and Davidson County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Section 1, the Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record as recognizing Mr. John J. West. Section 2, the Metropolitan Council office is directed to prepare a copy of this resolution to be presented to Ms. West. And Section 3, the resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. Representative West.
Am I recognized, Madam Vice Mayor?
You are most definitely recognized.
Thank you. I want to thank Councilman Steve Glover for doing this recognition for my brother Jay. I also want to express mine and my wife Phyllis of 25 years extreme gratitude for the outstanding job he has done as our representative not only for his district, but for the city of Nashville. And now, to our dismay, he is up against this forced term limit on the people's voice. Personally, I would prefer to be able to choose who I want as my councilman. He is going to be hard to replace. To each of you in the council, thank you for your service. As you may or may not know, my brother, my dad, and I gave over 50 years to this community. This community that we love so much. I was lucky enough to be elected for 26 years in the state legislature. You ain't lived till you've been through 13 years of election. Most of you were not even born when my dad was mayor, except for possibly Ludi Wallace. Some of you may not be aware that my father, Ben West, was the first mayor in the South to stop public segregation. This was a step he knew was the righteous and moral thing to do. He did that knowing his own political party would rally against him in the next election. And they did. Like my brother, he died too young, my father. I grew up politicking with my dad. Then, when I was 10 years old, my mother said, "You're going to have a brother or sister coming soon." Turned out to be a boy. His name was John Meadows West, better known as Jay. Jay is the name of my father's brother. Being 10 years apart, I was mostly like a babysitter than a brother. Our parents were smart enough when we were teens to send us both to military school. Even with the age difference, Jay would help in my campaigns and I in his. We were a good team together. I miss him very much. Allow me to introduce his wife, Diane West, and thank you for honoring my brother, her husband.
I won't be quite as winded as Ben is, but regardless, I want to thank all of you for honoring Jay with this memorial. He loved Nashville, Tennessee, and he loved his service on this Metropolitan Council. Our entire marriage was probably involved with campaign politics, and we spent a lot of time traveling the city of Nashville, and it was a great part of it was the greatest part of his life. So I, along with his daughter, his brother, all of our family, his best friends, we say thank you so very, very much.
We're going to try and grab a picture real fast. Yeah. We'll look this way. We're going to try and grab a picture. Yeah, we're going to. Miss Rosie's going to try and take the picture. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I ain't gonna make it through it.
No, we'll do it.
What I'd like to do now is ask any members of the public who are candidates for office to please line up at the lectern. I'm going to ask that you please share with us your name and the position that you're running for. And that would include anybody within the council that is running for office. Y'all please line up at the lectern, and we'll go ahead and let you introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor, members of council. My name is Lionel Matthews Jr., and I'm your candidate for Juvenile Court Clerk. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Richard Exton, and I would be honored to have your vote for Register of Deeds.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor and members of the council. My name is Scott Tift. I'm running for Chancery Court Judge Part 2 and would be honored to have everyone's vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and members of the council. I'm Councilwoman Karen Johnson, candidate for Register of Deeds. I ask for your vote and your support in this election. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and members of the council and people of the city. My name is Erica Gilmore, and I'm running for Mayor of Nashville.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm Jason Potts, Democratic candidate for State Representative District 59. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're now going to move to elections and confirmations. Council Lady Haywood.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Elections and confirmations. The Rules Committee reviewed the following, starting with Action Commission, the reappointment of Ms. Benita Davis for a term expiring February the 2nd of 2021. We voted 7 in approval of and 0 against.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for confirmation of Ms. Benita Davis to the Action Commission. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
Next, we have the Community Corrections Advisory Board, the reappointment of Mr. Eric Evans for a term expiring January the 18th of 2020. We voted 7 in favor of and 0 against.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Eric Evans to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
Next, we have the Board of Fair Commissioners, the reappointment of Ms. Erin McNally for a term expiring March the 30th of 2023. We took it to a vote, and we voted 7 in favor of and 0 against.
Thank you. You have heard the motion for confirmation of Erin McNally to the Board of Fair Commissioners. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
Next, we have the Gas Mechanical Examiners Appeals Board and the reappointment of Mr. Michael Porter for a term expiring January the 20th of 2022. We voted 7 in approval of and 0 against.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for confirmation of Michael Porter to the Gas Mechanical Examiners Board. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
The Historical Commission, the reappointment of Mr. Don Cusick for a term expiring February the 2nd of 2022. We voted 7 in favor of and 0 against.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Don Cusick to the Historical Commission. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
For the Plumbing Examiners and Appeals Board, we have the reappointment of Mr. Tommy Krantz for a term expiring March 20th of 2022. Our vote was 6-4 and 0 against.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Tommy Krantz to the Plumbing Examiner and Appeals Board. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
Also for the Plumbing Examiners and Appeals Board, we have the appointment of Mr. John Olert for a term expiring February the 15th of 2019, and Mr. Olert will fill the unexpired term of Mr. Matthew Clark, and we voted 6 in favor of and 0 against.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. John Olert for the Plumbing Examiner and Appeals Board. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
Sports Authority. The appointment of Mr. Jad Duncan for a term expiring February the 20th of 2024. Our vote was 6 in approval of and 0 against.
You have heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Jad Duncan to the Sports Authority. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councillady Haywood.
For the Board of Zoning Appeals, we have the reappointment of Ms. Cynthia Chappelle for a term expiring February the 26th of 2023, and it has been deferred for 1 meeting.
So you've heard the motion for deferral of Ms. Cynthia Chappell to the Board of Zoning Appeals. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Please stand as I call your name. Ms. Benita Davis to the Metro Action Commission. Eric Evans to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. Erin McAnally to the Board of Fair Commissioners. Michael Porter, Gas Mechanical Examiner Appeals Board. Don Cusick, Historical Commission. Tommy Krantz and John Olert to the Plumbing Examiner and Appeals Board. And Mr. Jad Duncan to the Sports Authority. On behalf of the entire Metro Council, we thank you for your willingness to serve and to volunteer your time and expertise. Thank you. I'm getting ready to announce it. Thank you. What I'd like to do now is a little bit out of the ordinary, but these are ordinary circumstances that I wish to share. I'd like us to stand and take a moment of silence. Barbara Bush, age 92, passed away. Thank you. I know we all wish her family well, and we'll keep them in our thoughts and our prayers. We're now going to move to bills on public hearing. We're happy to hear from the public on each bill. You'll be given 4 minutes each, during which time we ask that you begin by sharing your name and your address. We ask that you do not repeat what others have said, and to share and please be respectful to all parties. The first item is Bill number 2018-1139, sponsors Syracuse, Vercher, and Bedney. Approves the Donaldson Transit-Oriented Redevelopment Plan. Councilmember Syracuse.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a substitute A, that I'd like to introduce, and then what I'd like to do is defer it to the May 15th public hearing.
So you want to defer the public hearing?
I want to go ahead and move the substitute A.
So there's a motion for the substitute. There's a second. Any discussion? Mr. Syracuse, do you have anything you want to share?
Thank you. No, the substitute fully flushes out the plan. We've worked very hard. I want to thank Councilman Mendez and Mr. Jameson for all their work on this as well. We've worked very hard and in concert with MDHA, with planning, with legal, and come up with something that I think that is going to be a really good template for other TODs in the county. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to speak very passionately about why it makes total sense that Donaldson is the first one, and we'll set the bar and help others in the county achieve their goals.
Thank you. And we're going to take some committee reports.
Oh, yes, that's right, committee report.
Council Lady Vercher. Committee reports, Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance recommended a deferral to May 15th and a re-referral back to Budget and Finance.
Thank you. Councilman Bedney.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Planning Committee approved the substitute 11-0, and it also approved the referral substituted back to the May 15 meeting of the Planning Commission. I would also like to add that we are going to have a special meeting of the Planning Committee to discuss this, and I ask people to try to make the meeting so we can have a frank conversation about this project. Thanks.
Thank you. And Councilman Hager.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Pro Tem. 2018-1139, the proposed substitute was passed 4-4, 0 against. At the request of sponsor, though, was deferred to May 15th with re-referral to the Traffic and Parking Department Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And we need to get a committee report from Ad Hoc. That'll be Councilmember Mendez.
This is on BL
1139.
1139. That was voted 7-0 to adopt substitute A and 7-0 to defer as substituted to May 15 with re-referral to the committee.
Thank you. Councilmember Syracuse, you want to move the substitute?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes.
Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you. And I'd like to defer with a referral to those 4 committees on May 15th. Thank you.
There's a motion to defer, and there's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1140, Councillady Dowell, authorizes the creation of a South Nashville Central Business Improvement District and to appoint a corporation to act as an advisory board to the district with the necessary powers and authority to carry out the purposes and intent of the district. Councillady Dowell.
Thank you. I apologize. I open the public hearing.
Please raise your hand if you are in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Please share with us your name.
Good evening. My name is David Young. I live at 902 Kingfisher Point, Nashville, Tennessee. I work for Century Farms, LLC. Thank you, Vice Mayor Weiner, along with members of the council. Pardon me, I'm not a good public speaker. I just want to thank everybody for your support as we've been putting together Century Farms over the last almost 3 years now. This is one of the last pieces of it where we're trying to put together a business improvement district to ensure that Century Farms is and will always be the world-class development that Southeast Nashville deserves and we all want. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, Councillady Dowell.
Thank you. I move for approval.
Having been properly seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. We will now move to consent agenda. The following resolutions are on the consent agenda. Resolution 2018-1140, 1141, 1142, 1143, 1144, 1146, 1147, 1148, 1149, 1150, 1151, 1152, 1153, 1154, 1155, 1156, and 1157. Do any of those need to be removed from the consent agenda? Councilman Withers.
Yes, I would like to pull Resolution RS 2018-1149, so that we can have an explanation, perhaps from Mr. Jameson, to the public about what the resolution does and does not do. I know we've had some constituent correspondence and just would like an opportunity to have that clarified for everyone in the viewing audience today before we vote on that matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move move RS 2018-1157. Just remove that from the consent calendar. It's the last item on the agenda.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the captions and then we'll get committee reports. Resolution RS 2018-1138, sponsors Vercher and Bednay, approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Office of the District Attorney General to work with Hispanic victims of crime and their families due to language limitations and cultural understanding. RS 2018-1139, sponsors Scott Davis, Vercher, and Mendez, authorizes the Metropolitan Development of Housing Agency to enter into a pilot agreement and to accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 2034 Pitway Drive. Resolution RS 2018-1140, council members Vercher, Mendez, and other sponsors, approves a grant agreement between the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency and the Department of Social Services Metropolitan Homelessness Commission to provide services for homeless persons and persons housed through the 100,000 Homes campaign. RS 2018-1141, sponsored Vercher, authorizes the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claims of Tamira Nash and Timothy Nash against the Metro government in the amount of $50,000. RS 2018-1142, sponsors O'Connell and Vercher, accepts a donation from the Friends of the Nashville Farmers Market for the use and benefit of the Nashville Farmers Market. Resolution 2018-1143, sponsors Vercher and Roberts, approves a fire prevention and safety grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to the Nashville Fire Department to develop and implement a department-wide training program for arson investigation and to develop a comprehensive public education program for non-English speaking residents. RS 2018-1144, sponsors Vercher and Roberts, approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metro Police Department to support mental health services and criminal justice system advocacy to victims of violent crime. RS 2018-1146, sponsors Vercher, Gilmore, and Roberts, approves a Rachel Ray Save Them All grant from the Best Friends Animal Society to the Metro Board of Health to provide funds for the Have a Heart Heartworm treatment program. RS 2018-1147, sponsors Vercher, Gilmore, and Allen, approves grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Human Services to the Metro Action Commission to provide a range of services designed to assist low-income and homeless individuals achieve self-sufficiency. RS 2018-1148, sponsors Vercher, Elrod, and others, approves a pedestrian signal priorities grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Public Works Department to install pedestrian facilities and signalization at the most dangerous intersections throughout Davidson County. RS 2018-1150, sponsors Dowell, Vercher, and others, authorizes an amendment to an agreement between Metro Public Works and Century Farms, LLC, for the design and construction of access roads connecting Cane Ridge Road and Old Franklin Road to the I-24 interchange at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Resolution RS 2018-1151, sponsors Dowell, Vercher, and others, authorizes an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Department of Public Works for acceptance of all phases of work in connection with the construction of the interchange modification on I-24 East at Hickory Hollow Parkway. RS 2018-1152, sponsors Haywood and Rosenberg, confirms the appointment of Jad Duncan to the Board of Directors of the Sports Authority of the Metro Government. RS 2018-1153, sponsor Haywood, sets the date and time for the 2018 State of Metro Address. RS 2018-1154, sponsors Allen, Swope, and others, dissolves the special committee established pursuant to Resolution Number RS 2018-1039 and requesting the Office of Internal Audit to present a report and recommendations to the full Metropolitan Council. Resolution RS 2018-1155, sponsor Scott Davis, honors the Davidson County Sheriff's Office for sponsoring the Music City Tackles Mental Health Summit. RS 2018-1156, sponsors Vercher, recognizes April of 2018 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Now we will go back to committee reports. Councilman Mendez.
For RS 2018-1139 and 1140, the committee voted 7 for and 0 against. That's the Ad Hoc Affordable Housing Committee.
Thank you. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. For resolutions RS 2018, 1138, 1139, 1140, Budget and Finance recommended approval, 10 for, 0 against. RS 2018, 1141, 42, 43, 44, and 46, Budget and Finance recommended approval, 11 for, 0 against. RS 2018, 1147, Budget and Finance recommended approval, 12 for, 0 against. Also for 1148, 12 for, 0 against. And for RS 2018-1150 and 1151, Budget and Finance recommended approval, 12 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Swope.
And I respectfully defer to Councilman Syracuse.
Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Madam President. Codes Fair and Farmers Market, Resolution 2018-1142, recommended 5 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports from Health, Hospitals, and Social Services. Resolution 2018-1140 was recommended to the body, 5 for, 0 against. Resolution 2018-1145 was recommended 4 in favor of, 1 abstaining, but it was recommended for approval. 2018-1146 was recommended for approval to the body, 5 for, 0 against. And then Resolution 2018-1147, it was recommended 5 for, 0 against to the body.
Thank you. Council Lady Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. Public Safety voted 5 in favor and 0 against for 1143 and 1144.
Thank you. Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Madam President. Public Works recommended for approval, 9 in favor, 0 against. Resolutions 1148, 49, 50, and 51.
Thank you. Council Lady Haywood.
Thank you. The Rules Committee reviewed RS 2018-1152, 1153, 1154, 1155, RS 2018-1156, 1157, and we voted 5 in favor of and 0 against for approval. And with that said, all committee reports are in, and I would move to approve all resolutions on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman.
I know that you guys don't care about me, but there are 2 things that the Planning Committee recommended approval, and those are 1150 and 1151. So I'm not taking it personal, I understand.
I apologize, they're not on the list
But I just
here,
wanted to
so
recommend approval
that's
as
my
well.
bad. That's my bad, sorry. Okay. I had 2 different lists, so I apologize. Karen, let's see. Council Lady Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm just, this is a point of order. On 1145, there was an extension, and generally when something has an extension, it's not supposed to be on the consent agenda.
It's not on there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. We're going to move to RS 2018-1145. Sponsors Vercher and Gilmore. Approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health to provide core medical services and early intervention services to facilitate and support HIV/AIDS medical care. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance recommended approval, 11 for and 0 against. I'll need committee reports.
Thank you. Council Lady Gilmore.
Health and Hospitals recommended 5 for and 0 against to the council body.
Thank you. Council Lady Hurt.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Please excuse me. I have made an error. So actually, there was much discussion in Health, Hospitals, and Social Services, and it was recommended 4 were in favor of, with 1 abstention, and it was recommended to the body. And we had 1 member to abstain. I can share that, but I think we also shared that in committee. So we just want to make sure that everything's above board. So please forgive me, committee members. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to be marked as,
I'm sorry.
want to be marked as abstaining.
Okay, I got you. Council Lady Vercher.
Move for approval.
There's a motion for approval and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Takes us to RS 2018-1149, sponsors Scott Davis, Withers, and others. Approves an East Nashville Backbones grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Public Works Department to design, construct, and evaluate a span of 3 major separated bikeways and 1 minor separated bikeway in East Nashville to connect communities, encourage active transportation, and decrease automobile dependence. Councilman Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Thank you. Councilwoman Burcher.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance recommended approval, 12-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 9 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
Thank you. I support this. I yield my time to Councilman Withers.
Thank you. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I've received a fair amount of constituent correspondence about this, and I know members of some of the committees and the general body has also received some correspondence about this proposal. And I was wondering if Mr. Jameson could provide a little bit of explanation about what this grant does or does not do. I think some initial press coverage of this may have suggested that we are further along in bike lane construction or implementation than we actually are, and just wanted to get clarification from Mr. Jameson about what this actually funds, what work would commence going forward, and just any other information that might address the constituent emails that we've received excited about or concerned about this resolution for a grant application.
Thank you. You're on.
Thank you, Councilman Withers. I believe some of the correspondence that the council members received expressed some concerns about whether or not this would trigger a Section 106 historical review. What this application for a grant is essentially for studying this area in East Nashville. There are no particular routes that are designated. There is no intent to pick a specific route by applying for this grant. Essentially, the grant must provide routes based on the walk and bike plan eventually, but only following a fairly robust public engagement process that would consider design, traffic implications, and alternative routes. And in the meantime, there is no design implemented, so a Section 106 is not triggered, and I hope that's to everyone's comfort and satisfaction.
Thank you so much. And along with Councilmember Scott Davis, some of the streets that are suggested in the grant application are along both Districts 5 and 6 and would provide some greater connectivity if we could get things to hook up a little bit better. Folks could get to and from downtown and East Nashville on bicycles safely. And I think a lot of people are excited about that, but obviously we need to make sure that folks who are driving can also get to and from East Nashville because we don't have that many bridges to cross. So just appreciate that clarification from Mr. Jameson on some of the technical matters. If we are so fortunate as to be awarded this grant, I know both Councilmember Scott Davis and I look forward to working with staff and our constituents on community meetings to discuss design possibilities for various phases of those routes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I totally agree with my counterpart on the other side of Gallatin Road. I'd like to move for approval, please.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. That takes us to RS 2018-1157, sponsor Schulman. Honors local athletes representing the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games in Seattle, Washington, as part of the Metro Parks Disabilities Program and Special Olympics Nashville. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I need committee reports. I think it was given before, but the committee report on this one.
Councilwoman Haywood.
Thank you. Yes, we did review this, and we voted 5-4 and 0 against, and we moved for approval.
Thank you. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Madam President. The reason to pull this one off the consent was this is simply a resolution. We heard about it from the Parks Department honoring athletes who are representing Nashville and Davidson County in the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games in Seattle, Washington. It's a big deal. There are 10 folks traveling, representing our city, representing Special Olympics in those USA Games in Seattle. And what I really wanted to do was invite all members and it may be a proper motion, was just to simply move and ask all members of the Metro Council to sign on to this resolution.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Seeing no one in the queue wishing to speak, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Great, and then I would move for passage of the resolution. Thank you.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we now have a late filed resolution. Sponsors are Vercher and Henderson. Approves an application for an Adifama Archaeological Park grant from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to the Metro Parks Department to begin the development and implementation of the Park Master Plan. Councillady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe I need to suspend the rules.
Yes, there's a motion to suspend the rule. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I've already read it, so floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance recommended approval, 12 for and 0 against. And with that, I move for approval.
We need to get one more committee report.
Oh, we have one more? Oh,
Yeah.
rules, I'm sorry.
Councillady Haywood.
Yes, 11:59, Councillady Vercher appeared before the Rules Committee, and it was unanimous. We approved it 5-0.
Thank you. Councillady Vercher.
Madam President, I need for the record to be corrected. I did not appear before rules. Councillady Angie Henderson appeared before rules. So just want to make that clear for the record.
Thank
and with
you.
that, I move for approval.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, that takes us to bills on first reading, and if there's no objection, we will consider all ordinance on first reading at this time. Is there a motion to adopt all items on first reading? Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, that takes us to bills on second reading. And let's see, BL 2016-287, Councillady Haywood, changes 2.47 acres from AR2A and CS and 15.6 acres to SP zoning to permit heavy equipment sales and repair and all uses permitted by the CS zoning district except alternative financial services uses, non-residential drug treatment facilities, a bar or nightclub, and pawn shops and clubs, and 1.43 acres from CS zoning to AR2A zoning for property located at 7435 Old Hickory Boulevard. Councillady Haywood.
Vice Mayor, at this time, I would like to defer one meeting.
We actually have to defer it by Rule 23. That's right. And so it's deferred by council for more than 90 days.
Okay.
So we have a deferral of 90 days.
A deferral of
So
90
it'll be another
days.
deferred by, one meeting. It's
One
a
meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one meeting deferral.
Okay, one meeting
Okay.
deferral.
Yeah, by Rule 23.
By Rule of 23?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what I thought. Okay. BL 2018-1111, Councilman Glover amends the Metro Code regarding the Board of Ethical Conduct and the Standards of Conduct. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing Committee met today with the sponsor, and we voted to recommend approval of the bill as amended, 4 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Glover.
Actually, I should have moved the amendment, I believe, Mr. James. So I move the amendment.
Okay, there's a motion to move the amendment. Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Madam President. Now I move the bill as amended.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1142, sponsor Murphy amends the Metro Code to require notice to Metro Council members of fund requests within that member's district. This has been deferred by rule. Hang on. Here you go. You're on. Floor is yours.
I would like to make a motion to defer to the first meeting in August. The administration is in the process of working with me to either see if there's a different method that we can take care of this, be it through policy or staffing, to ensure that we all know what 4% projects are going on or not going on in specific districts and that type of information. So with that, I renew my motion to move this to the first meeting in August.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1143, sponsors Mina Johnson Murphy and others, approves an agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation, the City of Belmead, CSX Transportation, and the Department of Public Works for payment to CSXT for costs incurred during the construction phase of the bridge rehab project at the Hillwood Boulevard Bridge over CSX Transportation Railroad Crossing and Richland Creek. Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee report, please.
Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance, this was deferred by rule.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 9 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to move for approval with a brief explanation.
It was deferred by rule.
I would like to suspend the rule.
You can do that.
Is there an objection to a suspension of the rules? We have two objections to a suspension of the rules, so it stands that it's deferred by rule.
One meeting.
One meeting. BL 2018-1144.
Just
yes, ma'am.
one question.
Sure.
I was told this one committee stands.
You're on.
That's correct. You have to have a required approval by at least one committee. The deferral
Yes, I was approved by Public Works Committee.
That's correct. You're correct. You moved for suspension of the rules with respect to approval by Budget and Finance. There were two objections. The discretion is to the Vice Mayor. She moved to defer for one meeting.
I see. Thank you.
BL 2018-1144. Sponsors Vercher, Bednay, and Elrod, grants temporary and permanent easements to the Tennessee Department of Transportation on certain properties owned by Metro government. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance recommended approval, 12-4, 0 against, and I need committee reports.
Thank you. Councilman Bednay.
I'm sorry, I was sneezing. The Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 9 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Vercher.
I move for approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-11. Hang on a minute. Sorry. BL 2018-1145. Sponsors Sledge, Bednay, and Elrod. Abandons existing easement rights for property located at 700 Hamilton Avenue. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Councilman Bednay.
Yes, the committee recommended approval, 11-4, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 9 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you. I move approval.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are now on bills at third reading, BL 2018-1097. Sponsors Roberts and Kendall. Changes .54 acres from RS5 to SP zoning for properties located at 2122 Herman Street and Herman Street unnumbered to permit 10 multifamily residential units. Council Lady Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. With all committee reports in, I move for approval.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1109, sponsor Hastings. Changes from RS5 to R6 zoning for property located at 525 Weekly Avenue. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednay.
The committee recommended approval, 11-4, 0 against.
Councilman Glover.
Move approval.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1110, sponsor Rosenberg, applies 438.37 acres to an urban design overlay district for properties located along Highway 100 between Natchez Trace Parkway and the Harpeth River. Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
The committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam President, and to Councilman Bedney and his fine committee. This is the River Trace urban design overlay that we started working on in January of last year. It's going to protect the Highway 100 corridor from the Harpeth River to the Natchez Trace to the extent we can by creating some standards for building materials, building height, signage, lighting, and screening. Many thanks to Brandon Burnett, the planning department, and all the folks out there who are so supportive, and I'd like to move approval, please.
Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1114, sponsor Hastings, changes 2.34 acres from R8 to SP zoning for property located at West Trinity Lane unnumbered to permit up to 27 multifamily residential units. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
The committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against. The Planning
Councilman
Committee.
Glover.
Move approval.
Is there a second? Having been properly seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1115, sponsor Scott Davis, changes 3.61 acres from IR to MUIA zoning for properties located at 212, 226 North 1st Street, North 1st Street unnumbered, and 51 Odom Street. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
The Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval, please.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1116, sponsor Van Reese, amends 43.19 acres of a specific plan by removing an assisted living facility and incorporating athletic fields on a portion of property located at 726 Old Hickory Boulevard and at Boyd's Hilltop Drive, unnumbered. Council Lady Van Reese.
Yes, I believe we have one more committee to report, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
Yes, the Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Council Lady Van Reese.
Thank you. With all committee reports in, I move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1117, Councilman Sledge, changes .2 acres from R6 to OR 20A zoning for property located at 762 East Argyle Avenue. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilman Bednarik.
Yes, the Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you. I move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1118, Council Lady Roberts amends 1.91 acres of a specific plan for property located at 1206B, 60th Avenue North, 58th Avenue North unnumbered, 1042, 1044, 1046, 1048, and 1050 Treaty Oaks Drive to add land to the SP and permit 22 additional multifamily residential units. Council Lady Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
The Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Council Lady Roberts.
I'd like to move for approval, please.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1119, sponsor Scott Davis, changes .39 acres from IWD to RM20A zoning for property located at 847 Cherokee Avenue. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bednarik.
The Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4-0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval, please.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1121, Sponsors Huezo and Schulman, changes 6.05 acres from R6 to SP zoning for property located at 3325 McGavick Pike to permit up to 37 multifamily units. Councillady Huezo.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bedney.
Yes, the Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4, against.
Councillady Huezo.
Thank you. I'd like to move for approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1122, Councilman Pridemore, amends the Metro Code pertaining to special exception uses. Councilman Pridemore, hang on. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Bedney.
Yes, the Planning Committee recommended approval, 11-4, against.
Thank you. Councillady Gilmore, are you seeking a recognition? There you go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to hear a little bit more information about this. I think I received a couple of emails, and I want to hear a little bit more about this Bill 1122.
Councilman Pridemore.
I'm going to ask Mr. Jameson to explain it, please.
This bill would reinstate a requirement that the specific location of waste transfer facilities be inserted back into the code. Prior to August of 2017, you had to have certain intensive uses, the locations thereof specifically approved by this council before they went to the BZA, airport runways, asphalt plants, but also included waste transfer facilities. Then this body adopted the Jackson Law, which put in ordinance form local approval for all landfills and solid waste facilities. So waste transfer facilities were then pulled out of that code provision. TDEC's legal counsel has since opined that waste transfer facilities should not be lumped in with landfills, and if that's their ruling, then we should reinstate waste transfer facilities into the code that allows this body to approve their location before they go to the BZA.
Okay, thank you for the follow-up. Will this particular bill, though, once it passes, impact certain areas that are looking at waste transfer stations? For instance, I believe there's something out near Lebanon Pike.
There's one in Councilman O'Connell's district, and they have, to their credit, voluntarily complied with this version of the bill even before it's instated. This was the law for 20 years and was not the law from August of last year until now. So it's simply reinstating that correction.
Okay, and so once it does, now could you, that's the piece I have received a couple emails about. If you could just explain, once this bill happens, what does it do to that waste transfer station that is in council? It's in Councilmember District O'Connell's,
Right.
but could you just explain it to me? Because I've gotten a couple emails about it.
Those are special exceptions under the code. So you would go to the BZA to get approval. But the way it's been historically is before you go to the BZA, you first come to this body by resolution and get approval of the location. So it's an added security for those who may be concerned about waste transfer stations. The Jackson Law was thought to take care of that. It doesn't. So we're putting this back into the code. So it adds back the security that you've had for years, approving the location by this body before it goes to the BZA.
So have we already approved the location for that particular district in that area?
Yes, but they filed a resolution. They didn't have to do that, but they filed a resolution and cited in the whereas provisions that they want to go ahead and voluntarily comply with what they anticipate being passed tonight.
And who is they? I'm not clear about the they.
It was Pick Apart, I think was the name of the company. The attorney for it was Tom White, and that was the resolution that was before this.
Okay. I received, and this actually came from a collection of business owners, and so I just want to bring it up to the record. It is not my district, but a group, that's why I wanted to be really specific, a group of business owners that is led by the Clay Lady, they shared that they had some concerns and that they reached out and that they wanted to talk and have a little bit more information about this particular resolution before that waste transfer station came over. So I would just offer up or just ask, and it's just on record, whether the sponsor of the bill chooses not to do it or not, and Councilmember O'Connell, that they circle back around and meet with the business owners that's on Lebanon Pike, not the persons that are actually sponsoring this bill, just in good faith so that they will understand. I've received quite a few emails about that.
My recommendation to them would be to be supportive of this legislation because it gives them 2 steps, not 1.
Okay, so once again, I'm just asking that. I'm not saying I don't support it, but I'm just offering up a deferral because I think the business owners on that particular area deserve an explanation, and they reached out, and like I said, it's not my district. I wouldn't have known anything about it. I did represent it at one time, but they did reach out, and it's a collective group of 14 or 15 of them.
So are you moving deferral?
I'm going to leave that up to, I'm just sharing the concern. It's not my district, but I brought forth a concern that is a concern of the business owners. And so with that information and new information, I'm recommending it, but I'm not going to offer that up because I'm not the sponsor of the bill.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Madam President. I think there's probably a little bit of confusion here. I think what Councilman Pridemore is trying to do here is address a gap that we had. So I would encourage all colleagues to support this bill as is with no deferrals, because this actually requires that applicants such as the one that has already appeared before the Public Works Committee would have to do that. The same day that we were doing that, and I will say again, this applicant maybe did diligence that they didn't want to do or weren't required to do twice, because prior to meeting with me, they also met with Councilman Syracuse, who represents the other part of the city side corridor. We have both been in touch with Danielle at the Clay Lady, and in fact, there's a community meeting already scheduled. The community will actually have more of a chance to be heard as a public group at the BZA. Councilman Pridemore is very familiar with that process, and in fact is what led him to offer this repair bill. And I think the community is going to find that they will have their concerns very fairly heard at the BZA in a way that they would not have been able to here. So I think where we are right now is actually the best place we can be, knowing that a waste transfer station has been proposed. So I will suggest to Councilor Gilmore that we are absolutely working with the community that has expressed those concerns, and that community meeting is coming up next week to allow the applicant to be right in front of those folks, and that is all happening before the BZA hearing. To that end, this bill in particular actually restores the thing that Mr. Jamison has suggested to us was absent, and yet this applicant did anyway. So I would, again, encourage all members to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
I want to echo Councilman O'Connell's comments. The process that Councilman Pridemore is trying to restore, that the applicant in District 19 followed, has worked perfectly. The design is to have 2 bites at the apple, a resolution in the council to talk about the location, and then at the BZA to have a hearing about whether there's a special exception. The city side area business owners know about this because the resolution that came before the council, and now they've got the opportunity at the BZA, and so the process is working, I think, exactly how we would like it to, and this bill from Councilman Pridemore is really just, I like the word repairing the process to where it's supposed to be, that the District 19 applicant is following voluntarily. So I think we should go ahead and pass this. And I've communicated with the city side business owners group also, and my strong encouragement to them was to follow the example of the neighbors in the Madison area who dealt with this recently to get organized and go tell the BZA how they feel about it. Thank you.
Councilor Gilmore.
Hello? Yes, thank you. So I just want to go on record, because like I said, this was shared with me, and it was shared that the team that is a part of City Side, they said they are definitely opposed to the special exemption, and that they will be there for the meeting that Councilmember Mendez and O'Connell are bringing forth, which is that April the 24th meeting. But they did share that they were opposed and that they did have concerns. So I just want that to be on record, that I did ask the questions and I did speak up for them. Thank you.
Councilor Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm in support of not deferring it with in same opinion as Councilmember Mendez and Councilmember O'Connor, because having restored this special exception language in waste transfer station into special language exception will give community more voice, because between Jackson law and existing waste ordinance, we apparently missed the waste transfer category. So this bill will restore the importance of a community be able to come to the BZA and express for or against. And especially if you are against the location, it is really vitally important to have restore this language. For that reason, I really encourage you not to defy it and adopt it tonight.
Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. Previous question.
Well, you're the last one in the queue, so there
Then
you
let's
go.
do it.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all,
I was
Go.
going to move a
Sorry.
motion, but with a brief comment. But
Okay.
everything's been said that needs to be said, except I do want to say that on behalf of the community, the ones that went out and supported this at the BZA, want to thank Councilman Mendez, Councilman Scott Davis, and Councilman Nancy Van Rees for their assistance in what occurred on that evening, and Councilman Withers.
officially we're supposed to be voting, but thank you.
I move for approval.
Thank you.
I don't get to talk very often anymore.
Where did I lose control? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1123. Oh, you're right. My bad. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, previous question? Opposed? Move your bill.
Move for approval.
There's a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Councilman Glover. BL 2018-1123 sponsors Glover and Swope, amends the Metro Code to require memorialization and approval of internal agreements between departments, boards, commissions, or agencies valued in excess of $500,000. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Madam President. With all committee reports in, I move approval with a brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. I think this is a great first step. However, in the rules and confirmation and budget and finance, some other areas were pointed out, and I know Councilman Mendez is going to be working on some language to kind of expand upon this. And so therefore, I think this is a good way for us to start showing the city we're protecting and watching out after all departments as far as any money that's spent between two different departments in the city. So this is a good first step. But I appreciate the comments from the various members of the body and look forward to working on how we expand this. And with that, I renew my motion to approve.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1124, Council Lady Hurt, amends the Metro Code regarding public bathroom facilities. Council Lady Hurt.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move to defer this bill. I know it's deferred by rule.
Yeah, we need to get committee reports first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. And Budget and Finance, this was deferred by rule.
Thank you. Council Lady Hurt.
I move for deferral. Thank you.
One meeting.
One meeting, yes.
There's a second. Having been properly moved and seconded, we are voting on a one-meeting deferral. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1125, Council Lady Vercher authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the claims against Teleport Communications America, LLC, for unpaid right-of-way franchise fees and all expenses related to the litigation of such claims, and authorizing the establishment of a franchise agreement with Teleport. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for approval.
Is there a second? Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1126, Council Members Sledge, Vercher, and Elrod sponsors, approves an agreement between CSX Transportation and the Department of Public Works for payment CXXT for costs incurred due to the existing bridge removal and construction of the new bridge at the Foster Avenue and CSX Transportation Railroad crossing. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, seeing no one in the queue, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1127, sponsors Mina Johnson, Vercher, and others, authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects for purposes of the Davidson Road Phase 2 sidewalk improvements. Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. Would like to move for approval, please.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1128, sponsors Vercher, Bedney, and Elrod, authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects for purposes of the Forest Park Road sidewalk improvements. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1129, sponsors Syracuse, Vercher, and others, authorizes the acquisition and conveyance of right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects for purposes of the Lebanon Pike sidewalk improvements. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Madam President. With all committee reports in, I move approval.
There's a second. Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1130, sponsors Anthony Davis, Bedney, and Elrod, accepts permanent and temporary easements for the Chester Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project for 14 properties located on Chester Avenue and Chapel Avenue. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With everything in, I would move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1131, sponsors Anthony Davis, Bedney, and Elrod, accepts a donation of property located at 0 Harvard Avenue. Councilman Davis.
Thank you. Move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1132, sponsors Bedney, Elrod, and Allen, abandons an existing sewer main and easements and to accept a new sanitary sewer manhole and any associated easements for properties located at 3801B and 3803 Abbott Martin Road. Councilman Bedney.
I move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1133, sponsors Bedney and Elrod, accepts permanent and temporary easements for the Sherrill Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project for 6 properties located on Sherrill Avenue, Blackstone Avenue, and Lanier Drive. Councilman Bedney.
I move approval.
I'm sorry.
I move approval and he second.
Perfect. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1134, sponsors O'Connell, Bedney, and Elrod, accepts permanent and temporary easements for the 2nd Avenue North Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located at 1401 and 1403 2nd Avenue North. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1135, sponsors O'Connell, Bedney, and Elrod, abandons an existing stormwater pipe easement right located between 152nd Avenue South and 151 First Avenue South. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1136, sponsors Pulley, Vercher, and Bedney, authorizes the conveyance of property at the intersection of Hillsborough Pike and Crestmore Road after the completion of a realignment project at that intersection. Councilman Pulley.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Having been approved by all committees, I move approval.
Having been properly moved and seconded, all in favor? Hold that thought. Councilman O'Connell.
Councilman, I guess I need to address the chair, but Councilman Pulley, this is a big deal.
Councilman Pulley.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Okay. All in favor?
I thank you very much for those comments.
Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1137, Councilman Pulley, Bedney, and others, authorizes the abandonment and closure of the existing Crestmore Road at the intersection of Hillsborough Pike and Crestmore Road after the completion of a realignment project at that intersection. Councilman Pulley.
Having been approved by all committees, I move approval.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. BL 2018-1138, sponsors Kendall, Bedney, and Elrod, abandons a portion of alley number 1189 and alley number 1205 right-of-way. Councilman Bedney.
I move for approval, and I wanted to say hi to my friend Brandon that is sitting over there.
I'm getting ready to do that. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Before we finish, we need to go back. There was apparently a letter that was to have been presented for BL 2018-1143, sponsor Mina Johnson. So we are going to go back and reconsider that because it shouldn't have been deferred by rule. Will you read the caption?
Sure. This was BL 2018-1143, an ordinance approving an agreement between the State of Tennessee acting through its Department of Transportation, City of Belmead, CSX Transportation, and the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Department of Public Works for payment to CSXT for costs incurred by CSXT during the construction phase of the bridge rehabilitation project of the Hillwood Boulevard Bridge.
Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. What would be the proper motion? Motion to reconsider?
I would move to
go ahead.
I would move to rescind the deferral.
I will move to rescind the deferral.
Any discussion? Council Lady Bircher.
Thank you, Madam President. Just for the viewing audience, can we communicate as to the timing of the letter and also in respect to other sponsors where they've had legislation deferred by rule due to lack of no notification as to approval or whatnot?
Mr. Jameson.
Council Lady Johnson did miss the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. That is true, and the committee deferred the bill, and there was no agreement to suspend it in this body. She advised that she had requested a letter from our office, and I believe her. We simply dropped the ball on getting the letter and owe it to her to give her the opportunity to rescind the deferral and request a vote as if she had not missed that meeting, because she did request the letter.
Thank you. I do appreciate your support, and for that, I would like to move for approval with a little brief explanation to my community. This Hillwood Bridge is a really big deal, so I requested Public Works detailed information, and we will have a community with Hillwood, Westmead, and White Bridge, and Charlotte, because it will be a long-term closing. So we're going to have a district-wide, community-wide meeting before the construction starts. That will be a promise, and Public Works will give us detailed information. For that, I would like to renew my motion and ask for approval.
Well, we're going to first address the motion to rescind the deferral. So, do I hear a motion to rescind the deferral? Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. You're back on your bill.
I would like to move for approval, please.
Council Lady Gilmore, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate Councilmember Johnson. I don't know that if there wasn't a letter, though, I think that gets kind of dicey for some people that do submit a letter and do want their legislation approved. So I think we just need to think about that, especially because it was not accepted at the beginning, and now we're doing it at the end of the meeting. With no letter, I mean, usually you're supposed to have a letter, but, and it just seems like it's more of a personal call than procedural, and we usually follow procedure. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know how that.
Oh, we just voted to rescind the motion, the previous motion, so we're going to go ahead and address the vote. Council Lady Johnson.
May I renew my motion to approval, please?
Okay, Councilman Bedney.
Mr. Jameson.
Yes, sir.
Are we following the rules right now?
There was a motion to defer. It was passed, in the previous consideration, the bill was deferred. She has now appropriately moved to rescind. She has explained that she had requested a letter, and letters are requested and simply prepared and submitted to chairs without them verifying their presence. So it was the fault of the council office that the letter didn't come through. On that basis, the motion to rescind has now been approved. It is now back up as if it's come before you for the first time.
Okay, so I support her request.
Thank you. Council Lady Bircher.
Thank you, Madam President. Not to belabor the point, but because I believe this has a fiscal note attached to it, just for the viewing audience, I don't have my analysis, and we didn't vet this through Budget and Finance. Mr. Jameson, just for the viewing audience, can you recap that so that it at least looks like we're being prudent with taxpayers' dollars? Thank you so much.
Sure. This is essentially reimbursing CSX for the costs that they incurred in this project out at the Hillwood Boulevard Bridge overpass. The estimated cost of the reimbursement would be $285,847, but that would be paid by the state of Tennessee.
Council Lady Angie Henderson.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to speak to that this bill was discussed at length in the Public Works Committee and approved in that committee as well.
Thank you. Council Lady Kathleen Murphy.
Thank you. Just to give some further background and make y'all feel more comfortable with passing this tonight, this bridge is actually split between Mina and myself, which is why I think I'm second on the bill. We have been discussing this with Public Works since we found out about it, I think early in this term. And in fact, in the CIB, we discussed if there needed to be improvements at Post and White Bridge, because this is going to be a huge project. Council Lady Johnson and I have discussed we have to have community meetings on this because it's going to be a major disruptor of traffic in both of our districts, funneling into mine and affecting her constituents. We need to keep this moving. I understand that there was a procedural issue, but I would appreciate y'all joining us and moving this forward so we can get our community meeting going. And it's a state project. And, you know, if we don't move this forward, who knows what they might decide to do. So I support Council Lady Johnson. I ask you to support our motion to approve.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Madam President. And I don't have any trouble with moving the bill forward. I just had a quick question for Mr. Jameson. Because it never got through Budget and Finance properly, does it have to be considered on third hearing, or is that it?
You could re-refer it, but you do have the approval of the one committee you need. So.
Right, okay. Is it appropriate to re-refer it, to just send it back to Budget here?
It's on second, so you could re-refer it to Budget before third.
So I think I would defer to Council Lady Vircher, Chair Vircher, just to determine whether she wants to bring it back there on third.
Council Lady Vircher.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I would like for it to be re-referred back to Budget and Finance.
Okay. Is there a second on that? Yeah. You want to amend your
Sure,
motion?
so let me renew my motion. I would like to move to approval for tonight and then re-refer to Budget Committee for the third reading.
Okay, so there is a motion to re-refer to Budget and Finance on third reading. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now, let's all stand up and give Brandon Burnett a big round of applause. Meeting is adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.